Is PETA a cannibalism advocacy organization? Because if so, I'm interested.
No, I'm kidding.
Had enough of that for one lifetime.
All animals have the same parts.
Broadcast yourself.
The problem with PETA, this is published in December 18th, 2013. Estimated reading time, 2 minutes.
Never change, Aiken, never change.
This blog addresses the current effectiveness of PETA and its potentially negative impact on the animal advocacy movement. Movement this, movement that. Hey, I can move too. I can walk around. That's movement. People for the ethical treatment of animals. Oh, is that what it stands for? Okay. Yeah, that's what it stands for. Animal Advocacy Movement. Okay. Was founded in 1980 and has since become the most recognizable animal protection group in the world. Yep. They deserve a lot of credit for almost single-handedly putting animal rights issues on the radar of the U.S. public. As concern for animals becomes more mainstream, however, much of PETA's public education work seems outdated and potentially even counterproductive. Has PETA outlived its usefulness or has its approach to generating media tarnished the image of its fellow animal advocates? Whatever the answer, it's a question worth asking. Let me first state that I have tremendous respect for what PETA has accomplished over the nearly 30 years of the organization's history. I have both friends and colleagues. Every time I read organization, it goes to Organization 13, Kingdom Hearts, whatever. I have both friends and colleagues who work or have worked for PETA. Ooh, so second-hand experience, I suppose, with PETA. Good enough. The organization does some of the best work in the animal protection movement, including its efforts to convince corporations to demand that suppliers treat farm animals more humanely, and its outreach to youths through PETA2.com. Yeah, they get on people's asses all the time. My issue is with the organization's media and public education tactics, and its apparent unwillingness to evaluate and refine those approaches. That's worldwide amongst so many goddamn that sentence could apply to so many fucking things. So many. You got no idea just how many things I could apply to. Unwillingness to evaluate and refine their approaches with anything. PETA is far and away the most well-known name in the world of animal protection. So much so that it's a meme, kind of thing, right? PETA dominates the mindscape of the U.S. public. However, both research that Faunalytics has conducted, it's kind of synonymous with what they stand for, right? That and then that, they just go hand in hand together. I'm stuck on Band-Aid brand because Band-Aid stuck on me. PETA is far and away the most well-known name in the world of animal protection, which doesn't, of course, inherently mean the best, right? It just means most well-known. It doesn't mean effective. It doesn't mean anything. It just means most well-known. That's all. PETA dominates the mindscape of the U.S. public. However, it doesn't mean the opposite either. It just means what it means, which is just most well-known. That's all that means. That's most well-known. What does most well-known mean? It means most well-known. Nothing more, nothing less than that on its own, inherently. PETA dominates the mindscape of the U.S. public. However, both research that Faunalytics, whatever you are, has conducted and anecdotal evidence suggests that opinions of PETA are mixed at best. Well, people have mixed opinions of things that get on their ass all the time. That is certainly, just over that fact, right? Of course it's mixed. Of course it's mixed, among other things. But, that's a big glaring thing. People find that shit annoying and obnoxious and all that. So, I don't know. And say ineffective. Like, what does this even accomplish? It's completely unnecessary and pointless and doesn't do anything or something, all that. say. Among other things, right? People have their opinions in every which way, whether they're factually correct or not. Whoop-de-doo. The organization is an intensely polarizing force in the animal protection movement, and they are arguably responsible for the belief held by some that animal advocates are extreme or crazy. I would argue that people's attitudes toward PETA are more negative than they would probably like to believe. I personally do not think that PETA manipulates images or that they spend so little time helping animals, but it's the perception that matters. When it comes to media tactics, PETA clearly goes with whatever will attract attention. Hey, that's effective. That's kind of what works. I mean, yeah, you see stuff with that, I guess, Wikipedia article shit. Just, elaborate stunts. It's not very elaborate at all, but what gathers attention? Bring out the titty girls. Anyways, more, yeah. That's effective, sure. It's the perception that matters. When it comes to, clearly go with whatever will attract attention, you don't get a speaking voice in anything until you have first attracted a lot of attention. You know, that's step one. Step two is retaining it at the very least. And three is actually pushing your message along with it and doing whatever the fuck else. Right? With whatever, you got to get your foot in the door first, and, well, you fucks certainly did. I mean, certainly getting the jump on things early on, 1980, right? Blah, 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 or whatever. Taking a decentralized sentiment and making it more centralized into something of itself. PETA clearly goes with whatever will attract attention, and they throw everything they have at the press. If something sticks, PETA counts it as a victory, regardless whether the media coverage is positive or negative. If it doesn't stick, then they simply move on to the next idea. See, because here's the thing too, and especially with this, if the media coverage is negative, then that paints the coverage as negative, in a negative light, because you're criticizing the animal rights activist people. Doesn't that make you a piece of shit, right? Doesn't that make you, It's you don't even have to twist the narrative. It twists itself in your favor, by default. This was probably a smart approach 25 years ago when animal protection issues received very little media coverage or attention from the public. As more people began to take animal issues seriously, however, this approach is quickly becoming obsolete. What a word. And potentially even destructive. Oh, sure. Animal advocates need to establish credibility to continue moving animal rights from the fringe to the mainstream. The fringe, ooh. Isn't that something like fringe? Something like, I'm having a, I don't know, something like a hair thing, there's a word that sounds like fringe. That's something with some hair styling thing or something. I don't know what it is. It's not going to my mind. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know. And in some respects, we're fighting against PETA's inertia. If we want animal issues to be taken seriously, we should probably stop with the anti-fur demos featuring naked women and moderate our use of celebrities. But that's what people want to see, right? Tactics like these are transparent at best and repulsive at worst. Of course, no animal protection group does everything right, but most of the large ones are at least willing to evaluate their own efforts. When it comes to media outreach, PETA seems not to have changed much over the past 30 years, which is kind of commendable on its own, right? No. Consistency? No. While the world around it has changed significantly. I would argue that it's time for some new approaches, and I would say this is to the good folks at PETA. Thank you for the work you have done for animals, but please understand that not all media is created equally. On behalf of animal advocates everywhere, please take a more thoughtful approach to generating attention. As the most visible animal rights group in the world, we need you to help us become a credible and respected voice for animals. Meet the author. Faunalytics, nonprofit research and organization dedicated, your own organization in its own right, dedicated to helping animals by providing useful information to advocates to help them increase their impact. Who's harming whom? You gotta be grammatically correct. Let's try to get through the backlog of dumbassery recording stuffs. You're about to bear witness to some incoherent babble speak. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's been a month since all of this. A month ago. This is a month old, like just about a month old, this here recording. A lot of incoherent babble. I don't know what I'm talking about. I couldn't tell you. A month later, I don't know. I have no idea. But for some of it. But yeah, it's very deleted scenes-esque vibes going on here for some of it. And okay. Fucking big and juicy. Not to tell you to kill yourself, but oh, Wikipedia. Sure, Wikipedia. Ingrid Newkirk, Alex Pacheco, animal rights activist with a middle name like Fernando, founder of 600 Million Dogs. After her divorce, he met... Oh. Are you guys the founders of this? You are, huh? Oh. What? Well, okay. Newkirk talking about herself and her legacy. Yeah, okay. Oh, how cute. After her divorce, she met him, a political... He volunteered at the shelter where she worked, and they fell in love and began living together. Wow, influential... I don't know. Taking a job in May 1981 inside a primate research laboratory at the Institute, intending to gain first-hand experience of working inside an animal laboratory. Taub had been cutting sensory ganglia that supplied nerves to the monkey's fingers, hands, arms, and legs, a process called deafferentia. Monkeys could not feel them. Some of the monkeys had their entire spinal columns deafferented. He then used restraints, electric shock, and withholding of food and water, forced the monkeys to use the deafferented parts of their bodies. The research led in part to the discovery of neuroplasticity and a new therapy for stroke victims called constraint-induced movement therapy. Oh. Well, I guess there's an instance of it leading to something, I guess. Pacheco oftentimes doesn't, right? Pacheco went to the laboratory at night taking photographs that showed the monkeys living in what the Institute for Laboratory Animal filthy conditions. And then convicted of 6 counts of cruelty to animals. Yeah, PETA's trademarked lettuce ladies and I mean, really that's how you achieve your, the only reason why it gets as big as it does is because you pull stunts like this. I mean, everyone sees women with lettuce ladies go vet, and that's of course known for aggressive media slaughterhouse in Texas, Pentagon stopped shooting pigs and goats and wounds tests. Yeah. Only animals should wear fur. Yeah. Wow. And this, I mean, I saw this is on the Yeah. Stop eating meat? Well, if you look that cute, sure, why not? I'll do that. I mean, I won't, but other people will, I guess. I don't know. My aunt's dog died 2 days ago. Cooper. So in 9 colors. What? In celebration, we're looking at what is vivisection. And specifically, we want to look at the PETA. What is vivisection, and is vivisection legal? I'm going to leave it uncensored, and if it gets taken down, then I'll fix that. But until then, I mean, it's a PETA article. You know, it's obviously, like, it's obvious, right? So, animals are not ours to experiment on, eat, wear, use for entertainment, or abuse in any other way. Yeah, that's a really tall, task order. You're asking a lot there. You're asking a lot, Human beings are omnivores and do a lot of stuff with all these things. And, just the whole eat thing, just as simple as that, You cannot expect that of people, That will never be the case. As long as we are what we are, that will never be the case. So, and it extends further. The Native Americans, right? They're all dead. But the Native Americans, before the Native Americans got Native Americaned on by certain folks, well, when they get their hands on an animal, what do they do with that? They the whole animal. They use the whole animal. Every bit of it, every bit of the damn animal gets some use out of it. Even the bones, tools, more like decoration. But that's something, decorative stuff is, or in your ceremonies, that's entertainment, isn't it? Where? Entertainment. So even and eating, yeah, but it's honorable, it's the same stuff, but like honoring their spirit along the way. Well, you can have the same thing too of like, you sacrifice someone, making sacrifices to the gods, cut open your belly, you little thing. And what does it matter what your intention is? Anyways, I don't know. Whatever. It's, see, now I got you thinking, don't I? Yeah. Okay, so simple answers to 8 burning questions, including, what is vivisection? If you're a PETA member or supporter, well, I'm certainly not a member, a supporter, absolutely. You no doubt know that at our core, we're an anti-vivisection organization. You are? We oppose all... Let's zoom in here. Zoom into the text. We oppose all forms of speciesism. That's a term, but we never forget that our 1980s origins are rooted deeply in ending animal experimentation. But if you're scratching your head and wondering, what is vivisection? Don't fret. You're not alone. We've broken down everything you need to know about the ruthless, archaic practice. It's got to be done away with, huh? So what is vivisection? I already know, but Merriam-Webster defines vivisection as the cutting of or operation on a living animal, usually for physiological or pathological investigation, or, broadly, animal experimentation, especially if considered to cause distress to the subject. To put it even more simply, vivisection is animal testing. Think of the two as synonymous. If you've it's one form of it, you know. So if you've seen Legally Blonde 2, I haven't. Oh, I must be missing out. Or if you've ever opted for Wet n Wild mascara over Maybelline because the former uses PETA's logo, yeah, people really are all about that, you know. You probably already realize that animal testing is bad. Well, thank you for telling me. If you don't, that's okay. Keep reading. Oh, okay, let's learn about that. How, whatever it is. So you got some lovely little images here, whatever. Experiments on animals must end. Who started vivisection? Greek physician Claudius Galen is often named as the originator of vivisection. Now, the thing is, you know, you'll have some name here, but it's like more prolifically. Am I using proliferate? It's like the father of whatever. Like it was kind of already being, you know, whatever it is, fill in the blanks with whatever it is. It was already being done, but like on a more extensive level, popularizing it. Yeah. That sort of thing, right? So during the Roman Empire, Galen cut open goats, monkeys, pigs, and sheep, as you do. The conclusions that he drew about human anatomy based on his dissections were reportedly flawed. This is a pretty common conclusion to arrive at. Reportedly, whatever. I mean, you know, you don't really learn all too much of anything useful from all this. You know, that Joseph Mengele type stuff, just on animals instead of people. Same thing. People are animals, a species of animals. So yeah, you know, same thing. But this stuff goes on all the livelong day. So anyways, a phenomenon that we see often in today's ineffective animal tests when lives and precious resources are wasted by trying to infect animals with diseases that they would never normally contract. Yeah, not particularly. I mean, what is there to be gained from doing that, right? Take a trip through time using PETA's interactive timeline without consent to learn about almost 200 stories of twisted animal experiments from the past century. You know, just like how you would say a child can't consent to all these things, can these animals? Certainly not, right? By that, yeah, without consent. A century of animal experiments. I mean, did they sign any papers? No, they didn't do that. In the notorious canine muscular dystrophy MD laboratory at Texas A&M University. Well, that's right here. I think my cousin went there. So, you know, dogs who were deliberately bred to develop this crippling muscle disease struggled to walk and swallow. Analysis of MD experiments using dogs has shown that there are serious pitfalls when trying to apply their results to humans. Nearly 40 years of these tests have failed to result in a single cure or treatment that reverses MD symptoms in humans. Muscular dystrophy, huh? So, yeah. You know the whole thing of like, oh, this house is haunted. This university... No? Okay. I mean, I just went by a couple of places that where you know, I mean, just went by a couple of places. I was just in the car with my mother, just driving by these couple of places of some stuff went down here, you know, and I remember it very clearly. And we're just driving right by like this is nothing, because there really is nothing to these here places in particular. It's just, it doesn't hold any any meaning, any nothing besides just, you know, you wouldn't, you know, if you weren't there, you just, or if you're not told about it, you don't hear about it, you don't learn about it, I mean, you take a look, stroll down memory lane, and it's like, memory lane of, people that are old or dead or whatever, and it's just, you would have no way of knowing that some stuff went down here X number of years ago. So what do vivisectors do? Much like Galen, today's vivisectors experiment on and almost always kill animals in the name of science. Poisoning, shocking, burning, and killing animals is all in a day's work for vivisectors. See, now that title, vivisectors, that you make it sound cool when you use that kind of terminology, all right? It's always or, whatever, it ends in or it's ist, racist, narcissist, rapist, murderer, all these little things. I don't know. You make it sound like it's a badge of honor, when you use that kind of, I don't know. Because many states' anti-cruelty statutes include language that exempts abuse of animals in laboratories, vivisectors are given a pass to get away with murder. I just said that. I just mentioned that. Murder. Wow. Word up. And they often use our tax dollars to do so. For example, over the course of the last 13 years, National Institutes of Health experimenter Elizabeth Murray, read all about her, has received more than $36 million in taxpayer funding to frighten monkeys with rubber snakes and spiders. Allegedly to study mental illness in humans. And not one treatment or cure for humans has come of it. No experiment on animals, no matter how gruesome, is illegal. You just tack that on the end there. That's quite the sentence right there, ain't it? No experiment on animals, no matter how gruesome, is illegal. For every species other than just one of the many. Us. Unless it's someone else, owned by someone else's slave. That's what a pet is. Then property. Can't. Woo-wee. Monkey fright experiments. National Institutes of Health. I don't know. I just think that it's quite something how people's logic just only extends so far, with things. It's almost like people really don't think. Are vivisection and animal testing the same thing? Yes, vivisection is the practice of experimenting on animals. To learn more about what's wrong with vivisection, check out these top 5 reasons to stop animal testing. This is vivisection. This is animal testing. Oh, hello. Rabbit. Yeah. They do this with cows all the time. But at least there, I guess it actually serves kind of a purpose, and it kind of helps them feel less discomfort. Sure, yeah. They light it on fire, the methane, whatever. This archaic method for raising ticks was developed in the 1930s and is still used today in some laboratories. Oh, that's what they're doing. Oh, wow. And is still used today in some laboratories, even though newer non-animal methods are available. Ticks, huh? They stick ticks in the rabbit. They stick ticks in the rabbit, raising them. They make babies inside the rabbit. Consume the rabbit? I'd imagine so. Wowee. You can call it vivisection, or you can call it animal testing. Any way you spin it, Animals will never be ours to experiment on. Well, clearly they are. Clearly they are. Which animals are used in animal testing, vivisection? All of the above. At any given moment, millions of mice, rats, well, of course, rabbits, primates, cats, dogs, and other animals are locked inside barren cages in laboratories across the U.S. They languish in pain, suffer from extreme frustration, ache with loneliness, and long to be free. Well, I know what that's like. I know very well of what that's like. Anyways, monkey fried experiments. He's not having a good time. He, she, they look the same. Yeah. In Murray's laboratory, sections of monkeys' skulls are carved out and toxins are injected into their brains. I'm going to read that again. In Murray's laboratory, who's Murray? I don't know, there's no link there. In Murray's laboratory, sections of monkeys' skulls are carved out and toxins are injected into their brains. At Johns Hopkins University, well, there's a direct whatever right there. Experimenter Shrish Misor holds barn owls captive in his laboratory, cutting into their skulls and poking electrodes around in their brains. At Liberty Research Inc., dogs and cats were injected with pesticides and holes were drilled into their heads. Some cats suffocated under flipped over litter boxes. Yeah. In case you think it's specific to monkeys or whatever else, it's not. Oh, hello. Dog. In one experiment at Liberty Research Inc., workers used a drill to bore holes into the skulls of 30 young beagles so that distempered virus could be injected directly into their brains. Some of the dogs blinked and even whimpered during the painful procedure, indicating that they were not adequately anesthetized. Imagine if this pain were inflicted on your beloved canine companion. Are vivisection and dissection the same thing? Vivisection, an early 18th century word, is actually a combination of the Latin vivis, meaning living, and the English word dissection. When pertaining to animals, dissection is the act of cutting up or dismembering a body. Dissection is most common in classroom settings. Typically, cats. They do that. You guys cut up in cats in classrooms. Dead. Interesting. Typically, cats. Well, yeah, the frogs, of course. Pigs, rats, fish. And invertebrate animals are the ones students are instructed to cut open for a grade. But others, including sharks, birds, and turtles, are dissected too. Vivisection and dissection have more in common than just a root word. Animals who are used in cruel experiments are often killed and then dissected. So you can go through both. But yeah, vivisection is while still alive. Dissection is after the fact. There's your difference. And then, yeah. Not looking too hot, eh? Yeah. A dissected cat at a veterinary school in Canada, 2007. Yes, vivisection, aka animal testing, is legal in the US. Although some of the experimentation conducted on animals today is required by law, most of it isn't. A number of countries have implemented bans on testing certain... I don't even know what that... What? I'm not sure if I understand this sentence. A number of countries have implemented bans on testing certain types of consumer goods on animals, such as the cosmetics testing bans in the European Union, India, Israel, New Zealand, Norway, and elsewhere. Unfortunately, the US has no ban on testing cosmetics or household products on animals, so companies that make and sell their products here can choose to conduct tests on animals. But thanks to PETA's campaigns, very few of them do. Wow! With the help of our members and supporters, PETA works globally to expose and end the use of animals in experiments. Check out a few of our anti-vivisection efforts and the victories PETA has scored for animals imprisoned in laboratories. GlaxoSmithKline banned this. What is GlaxoSmith? Heavyweight. During the widely discredited forced swim test, rats and other small animals are placed in inescapable beakers filled with water and made to swim to keep from drowning. That is how you keep from drowning. Oh my. Okay. In you go. In you come. In you whatever. Come along. Okay. You shall be included. You shall be included. Okay. So. Place made to swim to keep from drowning. Thanks to PETA, more than a dozen major pharmaceutical companies, including heavyweight GlaxoSmithKline, have banned this near-drowning test. What the hell is this test even for? What does this do? What the fuck does this have to do with anything, you know? Just, would you just make them take something? You inject them with something and then just like, oh, maybe they can swim better or something more gooder? Okay, let's see what GlaxoSmithKline is, even. Heavyweight, yeah, Thank you, AI overview. Wow. Vaccines, HIV. That doesn't, that's not helpful. British. Yeah. Heavyweight. Oh, heavyweight meaning, right. Heavyweight, not meaning, okay. Heavyweight meaning they're one of the big ones, like for chicken, Tyson, right? Which is also they're one of the big ones. They're one of the big pharmaceutical companies. Okay, they're a producer, supplier of a lot. Yeah, they're one of the big ones. All right, they're one of the big ones. All right, okay, sure. Is PETA against animal testing, vivisection? Yes, I mean, it's quite, a question to even ask. I mean. No, actually, all that you've read so far, and then their answer is no, obviously not. We're very much for it. We love it. Keep it up. I don't know. It's just a way to like continue on further with saying more stuff. It's just weird formatting. I don't know. Yes, PETA is against animal testing. Our first case, the precedent-setting 1981 Silver Spring monkeys case, resulted in the first arrest and criminal conviction of an animal experimenter in the U.S. on charges of cruelty to animals, the first confiscation of abused animals in a laboratory, and the first U.S. Supreme Court victory for animals in laboratories. And we haven't stopped campaigning and winning for animals since. 1981. So, that was... Do the math. Yeah, do the math. Is that 45 years ago? 45... Yeah. 45 years ago. So, how does PETA end animal tests? Just read our 2019 recap to find out. How PETA is ending vivisection. If you want in on the How Can We Stop Animal Experiments action, you're in the right place. Click on the button below to join PETA in helping to stop animal testing. You know, PETA, well, okay, it's one letter different, but, you know, pita bread. I mean, oh, my God. Oh, my God, you know. Peter, yeah, and you can do this sort of thing. Like, you know, you cut it open. You know, instead of cutting open animals, you cut open the pita bread and you stuff it with stuff. You know, instead of cutting open the animals and stuffing them with stuff, you cut open the pita bread and stuff it with stuff. Yeah. But, oh yeah. You can make your own pita bread. Absolutely, you can. Sure, let's look at this one. Homemade pita bread. Homemade pita bread is not only delicious, especially as soon as it's finished cooking. I think they even have this stuff at like, even at like Walmart pita bread, you know. Anyways, homemade or, you know, stuff is not, stuff from other whatever is not necessarily hard to find, even if you're, I don't know, whatever. Homemade pita bread is not only delicious, especially as soon as it's finished cooking, but it's super easy to make too. The resting period is only a couple of hours, and then you get immediate gratification with only a few minutes of cooking time. Jump to recipe or scroll for photos and riveting information. ... Facebook, Twitter, it's not called that anymore. Pinterest, email. We know all about Pinterest. Advertisement, continue below. Well, here's what you need for homemade pita bread. Not all Come on. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Not all pita bread is made equal. This is a fact. Oh, I don't want to hear it. While I have definitely bought different brands of pita bread in a grocery store or bakery, I rarely enjoy any of them as much as homemade pita bread. Sentiment. There are a few reasons for this. First of all, store-bought pita bread tends to be thin, drier, and less pliable than homemade. God. Not all pita bread is created equal. Oh. You know, which is no surprise. And homemade, which is no surprise, since it has usually been sitting on a shelf for a few days. Depending on the brand, some store-bought pita breads seem to exist only as a vehicle for what you might put inside. Homemade pita bread, on the other hand, I could eat all by yourself, very happily. So what do you need to do? How to make pita bread? To be honest, making homemade pita bread is also a lot more enjoyable than buying it in a store too. It's one bread recipe that gives you almost immediate gratification. Yeah, you said that. Almost immediate gratification. You start with yeast, proofing it in warm water, and make a basic bread dough with flour, sugar, salt, and olive oil. I hate that you didn't include another comma right here. It takes a couple of hours to rise, and then you roll it out and cook it either in your oven on a stone steel or... Oh my, what is going on with this sentence? In your oven on a stone, steel, or cast iron pan. Again, missing a comma. I mean, no, you don't. Why is it optional? Why is that optional? Why, oh, why? On the stovetop, in a cast iron pan, or in your air fryer. That cooking part only takes a few minutes, and before your very eyes, you have pita bread. Exciting. Look at that. Nice hand. Old hand. You look like you could use some moisturizer, you know? A little bit of that would do you good. I mean, because, like, you know, you have your arm there, and it's like... There's a discrepancy. Disparity? Discrepancy. You know? It's like, here's this, and then here's the back of your hand, and it's like... I mean, sure, maybe you're old, but... You know, we were saying dry before. Your back of your hand looks really dry. Put some moisturizer on in the back of your hand. Yeah. Maybe the front too, I don't know, but especially the back, you know? Good stuff, good stuff. Kneading by hand. Kneading by hand. I prefer to knead pita bread dough by hand because the dough is smaller in quantity and you get a better feel for when it has been kneaded enough. It will start out ragged, but as you knead, folding and pushing the dough over on itself, it will transform into a smooth, pliable dough. Wow, that looks weird as hell when you do it like that. I don't know. I don't know how to tell you've kneaded enough. You'll feel the difference happen underneath your hands. But one good way to check to see if you've kneaded the dough enough is to test the strength of its elasticity. To do that, pull a small part of the dough away from the ball gently and see how thin you can get the dough to stretch before it breaks. You should be able to see the light through the stretched dough. Ew, whoa, what is this tool? Ball. I like ball. Let the dough rest. After kneading, the dough needs to sit. Relax. I hate the... Just put another comma. After kneading, the dough needs to sit, relax, and rise for a couple of hours. It should double in bulk, and when you poke it with your finger, you should see a fingerprint that rebounds ever so slightly. Then, you can divide your dough into 4 or 6 pieces, depending on how big you like your pita breads to be. Plural. Yeah, look at them. There's more than one. That's great. Then again, the dough needs to rest. Every time you touch and work the dough, it needs to rest. So once you've shaped your portions into balls, take a break and let the dough do the same. Be nice to the dough. Be nice to it. Be very, very nice. And not necessarily gentle with it. Just you gotta give it some time to rest, you know, and we ain't got all day. I got all day. I got all day, every day, any day. I don't value my time, but other people do. You probably do. So, yeah, something to keep in mind. Roll out the pita bread. When you roll the pita bread balls out, be careful not to roll them too thin. About 1/4 to 3/8 inch thick is good. Why can't we 2/8 to 3/8? No, okay. Okay, all right. Thick is good. If you roll them too thin, you won't get a pocket inside. A pocket inside, a pocket inside. Roll the balls out while you preheat your oven, your air fryer, or your cast iron pan. It gets all bubbly with the heat because there's air inside, and the air gets heated up, and then the air expands. It gets excited. Oh, the molecules get excited and they want to burst right out, but they can't because there's no pocket for them to escape through just yet. So they bubble up. It may look like a tortilla, but it's not. It's pita bread. Stovetop pita. Well, I mean, it's a lot thicker looking than it. Whatever. Okay. It may look like a thick tortilla, but it's not. It's pita bread. Stovetop pita bread. When you make pita bread on the stovetop, you'll see the air Then you go on to say the thing I just said. You'll see the air pockets develop in the dough as it cooks, which is rather exciting. You what? Meow, 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 meow. Come here. Meow. What do you want? What? What is it? What is it? Meow. Meow. Right here. Right here. Go ahead. Say hello. Yeah, whatever. Good enough. You've done very fine work for us today here. What do you need me here for? Nothing. I'm just relaying information. When you make pita bread on the stovetop, you'll see the air pockets develop in the dough as it cooks, which is rather exciting. You may not get a full pocket when you cook the pita this way, but it will be delicious and tender. There's no need for any oil or fat in the pan. That would just brown the bread too quickly. You may need to adjust the heat underneath the pan as you continue to cook the pita breads so that the pan doesn't get too hot and cook too quickly. I like to use stovetop pita breads as flatbread bases. Think peach, prosciutto, and burrata flatbread, or for scooping up delicious spreads like tzatziki or an edamame kale dip, or as wraps for chicken shawarma or chicken gyros. Yeah. Yeah. Inside the toaster oven or air fry. Is that what you're calling it? Air fryer pita bread. In the air fryer or oven, your pita bread will puff up. What if it doesn't? What do I do if it doesn't puff up? No, it will puff up. What if it doesn't? On the off chance it doesn't, then what do you do? What do I do if my pita bread doesn't puff up? What if it doesn't give me a perfect pocket to stuff? In the air fryer or oven, your pita bread will puff up, giving you a perfect pocket to stuff. I don't need to give you ideas for what you might stuff inside a pita, but I will anyway. You could make my turkey Waldorf pita sandwich in an air-fried pita bread very nicely. It looks burnt. What to serve with pita bread? Pita bread is a perfect accompanying bread for lots of different foods. You could make a Greek meal with chicken souvlaki and Greek potato wedges, Or use the pita to scoop up the end of your bowl of mulligatawny or any super stew that needs mopping up afterwards to get the last drop. I thought it was going to end the sentence with saying the last scoop. But drop is cool too. Of course, if you're like me, I'm nothing like you. You might just like to enjoy that pita all on its own. Yeah, maybe. Now we finally get to how to make it. You said how to make it, but you didn't say how to make it. Well, you did say how to make it, but you didn't say it. Roll it out, the dough, and I mean, how do you know, we just you just skipped right to the, well, okay, words. Okay, flour. Okay, I don't even know the words that I'm reading. Okay, I guess you did. It's just, I mean, yeah, this is what I was looking for, Yeah, this right here. Yeah. I don't want you. Yeah. And you got the stovetop version, your oven version, and your air fryer version. I didn't even see that. It says version for each of them. How about that? All right, pita bread. Stovetop version. Nutrition info, print recipe. Get away from me. Prep time, 21 minutes. Or is it months? It could be months. Cook time, 6 months. Rising time, I don't know what H could be. What does that mean? What does H stand for? Hormonal. I don't know. When my aunt used to pick me up after school, middle school, she would, and I would be in a bad mood, and she would say, she would ask me, "Are you PMSing?" Total time 2 hours 27 minutes. Servings 6. Ingredients 2 teaspoons active dry yeast, 1 tablespoon sugar, 1 1/4 cups warm water, 90 degrees to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 3 1/4 cups all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons salt, 1 tablespoon olive oil plus more for brushing. Kosher salt optional. Kosher, huh? Instructions. 1. Dissolve the yeast, sugar, and water in a small bowl. Let the mixture sit for 10 to 15 minutes. That's a long time. To make sure the yeast is active, it should foam a little. If there's no foaming, discard and start again with new yeast. What a great way to waste perfectly good yeast. Oh my God. There are people that yeast. Oh no. Speaking of. Okay. Combine the flour and salt in a large bowl. Add the yeast mixture. I don't like that word. That word has a lot. That's a very charged word. Mixture. There's a lot riding behind that word. Mixture. Some mama bird type stuff. Okay. Add the yeast mixture along with the olive oil and stir with a wooden spoon. Make sure it's a wooden one. You know how we feel about things there's a right way of doing things and there's a wrong way of doing things. You use a wooden spoon, okay? Until a ragged dough comes together. Add a little more flour if needed to get the dough to pull away from the sides of the mixing bowl, or add a little more water if the dough seems too dry. You know what I want to watch? I want to watch Hoodwinked again. I saw it only a couple years ago or something. Again, since whenever I was a lot younger, but hoodwinked, and hoodwinked 2. But it's 2. It's it's 2. It's not 2. It's 2. It's okay. Add a little more water if the dough seems too dry. 3. Did I even say 2? I think I said 2. I don't know. 2. That was 2. 3. Knead the dough, as was stated before. All this was stated before. Knead the dough until it is smooth and elastic. Like Elastigirl from The Incredibles. Elastic. About 8 minutes in elastic. So you can do this shit with your hands. Oh. Why? Why? Why would you do this to the dough? I mean, not to say you're violating it, but yeah, you kind of are. On the whatever subject topic, we just went over animal cruelty, okay? What if the yeast mix, the dough, whatever you want to call it, the thing, what if it's alive? And what if it has feelings? What if it's an animal and you're being cruel to it? You're being cruel to the dough, the yeast mixture, the whatever it is. You're being very, very cruel. And PETA's going to come after the PETA of pita bread. PETA of that's the title, ain't it? How do I combine these two together? The PETA of pita bread. What does that mean? It just means we're going over PETA and pita bread together. One after another. Knead the dough until it is smooth and elastic. That's some alien stuff right there. I just went to the mall to walk there. Saw a couple of face huggers. I'm not talking about people. I'm not derogatory terminology. I'm not, the kinds of things you say about people inside your head all the time. I'm not. I don't know. I mostly just stick to ants and stuff like that, but no one gives a shit about ants. I don't know, unless they're like super cool ones. But if they're just like regular ones, like the regular ones are just regular. There's plenty of ants to go around. They're cool, they're this and that, but only in numbers. Individually, not really. Got a single ant. The Ants movie, the early 2000s animated Ants movie, the Ants movie, it was in numbers, right? It's one puny little ant, but in numbers, they're quite something. Yeah. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100-1. And if they, I don't know, but if they figure that out, anyways, knead the dough until it is 3. Knead the dough until it is smooth and elastic. About 8 minutes in a stand mixer or 15 minutes by hand. Transfer the dough to a lightly oiled bowl. Cover and let it rise in a warm place until doubled in bulk. What is doubled in bulk? Oh, okay. 4. Divide the dough into 4 to 6 portions and roll each portion into a circle about 6 to... I don't know how I feel about that either. Okay, 6 to 8 inches in diameter. 5. Preheat a cast iron skillet over medium-high heat for several minutes until water droplets sizzle immediately when dripped on top. Why would you drip water drop? Why would you do this? 5. Place the rolled dough into the skillet and cook for about a minute. Flip the dough over with tongs and cook the other side for 1 to 2 minutes or until it has browned and has a few dark spots. Dark spots, huh? Yeah, like on the sun. They're called sunspots. Enjoy. Meredith Lawrence? But with a U? Lawrence, but with a U. Okay. Sure thing, Meredith Lawrence. If you made this recipe, please add your comments and ratings below. Like, if you made this, if you followed this recipe and made it yourself, yeah. Hello, all photos and content are copyright protected. Please do not use our photos without prior written permission. If you've made this recipe and would like to share it with your friends, please link back to Pita bread, stovetop version on Blue Jean Chef. Thank you. Yes, that is the website. You can see it at the top right there. I don't need to. Yeah. Blue Jean Chef, of course. Advertisement, continue. No. And now we got to look at the oven version. Pita bread, yes, we're going to do the whole thing over again 3 times. Pita bread, oven version. Prep time, 21 minutes. Cook time, 6 minutes. More straightforward this time. Rising time, 2 hours. Total time, 2 hours, 27 minutes. Servings, 6. Ingredients, 2. Did I read this? I think so. Yeah. 2 teaspoons. Oh my God. Twiddling my little thumbs. Oh, I'm all thumbs today. Fiddling around with a cup filled with water that I then down the head. 2 teaspoons active dry yeast. 1 tablespoon sugar. 1 4 cups warm water, 90 degrees to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. 3 4 cups all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons salt, 1 tablespoon olive oil, plus more for brushing. Kosher salt optional. Instructions. 1. Dissolve the yeast, sugar, and water in a small bowl. Let the mixture sit for 10 to 15 minutes to make sure the yeast is active. It should foam a little. If there's no foaming, discard and start again with new yeast. 2. Combine the flour and salt in a large bowl. Add the yeast mixture along with the olive oil and stir with a wooden spoon until a ragged dough comes together. Add a little more flour if needed to get the dough to pull away from the sides of the mixing bowl, or add a little more water if the dough seems too dry. 3. Knead the dough until it is smooth and elastic, about 8 minutes in a stand mixer or 15 minutes by hand. Transfer the dough to a lightly oiled bowl. Cover and let it rise in a warm place until doubled in bulk. I still don't know what that means. 4. Divide the dough into 4 to 6 portions and roll each portion into a circle about 6 to 8 inches in diameter. 5. Preheat your oven to 475 degrees Fahrenheit with a pizza stone or steel or a cast iron pan inside for at least 30 minutes. 6. Place the rolled dough onto the stone for about 30 to 60 seconds. Flip the dough over with tongs and cook the other side for 1 to 2 minutes or until it has browned and has a few dark spots. Enjoy. Okay. Fine. Enjoy, Meredith Lawrence. If you made this recipe, please add your comments and ratings below. Hello, all photos and content are copyright protected. Please do not use our photos without prior written permission. If you've made this recipe and would like to share it with your friends, please link back to Pita bread, oven version on Blue Jean Chef. Thank you. Air fryer, pita bread, air fryer version. Prep time, 21 minutes. Cook time, 6 minutes. Rising time, 2 hours. Total time, 2 hours, 27 minutes. Servings, 6. Ingredients, 2 teaspoons active dry yeast, 1 tablespoon sugar, 1 1/4 cups warm water, 90 degrees to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 3 1/4 cups all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons salt, 1 tablespoon olive oil plus more for brushing, kosher salt, optional. Instructions: dissolve the yeast, sugar, and water in a small bowl. Let the mixture sit for 10 to 15 minutes to make sure the yeast is active. It should foam a little. If there's no foaming, discard and start again with new yeast. 2. Combine the flour and salt in a large bowl. Add the yeast mixture along with the olive oil and stir with a wooden spoon until a ragged dough comes together. Add a little more flour if needed to get the dough to pull away from the sides of the mixing bowl, or add a little more water if the dough seems too dry. 3. Knead the dough until it is smooth and elastic, about 8 minutes in a stand mixer or 15 minutes by hand. Transfer the dough to a lightly oiled bowl, cover and let it rise in a warm place until doubled in bulk. 4. Divide the dough into 4 to 6 portions and roll each portion into a circle about 6 to 8 inches in diameter. 5. Preheat the air fryer to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. 6. Air fry 1 or 2 pitas. It could just be 1. Or you could have 2 at a time at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 6 minutes. Flipping it over when there are 2 minutes left in the cooling time. Enjoy, Meredith Lawrence. If you made this please link back to pita bread air fryer version. I can't even do it right, because you have to. You can't be like right on. Never mind. I guess you can be. What was I like that? I guess I was. It's because I don't want to get the space on there. Oh, whatever. The cooling time. Yes, let's check out the comments. Karen Moriarty, could you please say how long and at what temp if baking in an air fryer? Thanks. Meredith says, hi Karen, on top of the recipe title are different tabs to click on for different cooking methods. Click on air fryer and the air fryer version of this recipe will pop up. Yeah. You didn't need to comment this. But and there was no thing left, but there was 3 Nikki T, 3 stars. I just made the pita bread. The dough was tough and difficult to roll out, though. Also, after cooking the dough rounds in a cast iron skillet, they tasted bitter. Any suggestions? Thanks. Hi, Nikki. If the dough was tough and difficult to roll out, it was too dry. The challenge in replicating recipes like this is in the measuring. If you are scooping your flour when you measure, you're adding more flour than you should be adding. Check out this article on measuring. BlueJeansChef.com, cooking school, how to measure ingredients. We're going to cooking school, yay! Volume measurements can vary so much, which is why professional baking recipes always use weight measurements. Well, because error. There could be air, more or less air in there. The other thing that might be happening is that your yeast was dead. If the yeast was inactive, it would not release any gases into the dough. There would be no rise, and the dough would be tough. Make sure you proof your yeast before using it to make sure it is active by putting a little yeast in a bowl with a pinch of sugar and some warm 90-degree fair. That is not warm. That's kind of, well, I mean, it's hot air, if that's the temperature of air. I mean, compared to, getting up to boiling, scalding, I guess it's warm. It's quite warm, ain't it? It's pretty decent. Okay, warm water. Wait 15 minutes and you should see some activity. If there's no activity, no bubbling or foaming, you need to start with new yeast. As for the bitter taste, I can't think what the problem was there unless the bread was picking up some flavor from the pan or the flour or olive oil was rancid. There are not a lot of ingredients to blame in this recipe. Would love a whole wheat version for the pita recipe. Hi there. In most recipes, you can substitute 50% of the flour quantity with whole wheat flour instead. Give that a try for the whole wheat pita version. Well, then that would only be 50%. What about the other 50%? Might need to make more modifications there. Some major modifications. Lens. I made the pita in my bread maker because of my wrists. I did not get the bubble inside I was hoping for. I followed the instructions and baked them at 459 degrees. Hey, I said that before. What if you don't get the bubble inside? See? It is possible to not get the bubble inside. Like you said you would. You said you would get the bubble inside. I was lied to. I didn't get the bubble inside. I followed the instructions and baked them at 459 degrees. I was wondering if I turned the pita over too soon to not get the bubble. The bread tasted good. Hey, that's all that matters, right? That's great. Hi there. Sometimes you don't get the bubble if you roll the pita too thin or if the surface you're putting it into isn't hot enough. If you are baking in the oven in a cast iron pan or on a stone or steel, make sure you leave the pan/stone/steel in the oven long enough to be really hot. I'm getting hungry, goddamn. Monica from Best Consumer Ratings. One more great recipe. Looks so delicious. My kids loved it. I will definitely try your recipe. Looks seem easy to make. 5 stars for you, and thanks so much for this guide. Moira, how can you give a 5-star rating based on looks seem easy to make? And I will try your recipe. Would love a response. Many thanks, and by the way, I will try it and review. Looks seem easy to... You're right. I didn't even really read it. One more great recipe. Looks so delicious. My kids loved it. I will definitely try your recipe. Looks seem easy to make. 5 stars for you, and thanks so much for this guide. That is a pretty great point to make. Yeah. Looks like a great recipe. Looks seem easy to make. My kids loved it, as in past tense. Something's a little off here. Something's not right here, you know? Something's not adding up. This doesn't make any sense. 5 stars. Well. Hey, it doesn't have to make sense. It's a good review, and it comes along with 5 stars. And just like the tastes great for the pita bread, that's all that matters. Bubble. Anyways, in response to looks, how can you give a 5-star rating based on looks seem easy to make? Lisa, Blue Jean Chef team member. We publish all the comments as written. You publish them. But don't people just leave them and they get left? I mean, yeah. Wow. Your name and email as well. Yeah. Oh no. Okay. So, I mean, I don't know. People with their weird wording. I mean, you publish them. They are published on your website. You don't really publish them. They are published by others on your website. Anyways, so if they are attached with a rating, then it is posted too. Sounds like they are giving Meredith a 5-star rating, and we're looking forward to trying the recipe. If you try this recipe, let us know what you think. Thanks! Exclamation point. Yeah. But yeah, 5 stars without even first trying the recipe though. So it's not a case of even first. It's not so much even that it's to be expected. It's just given a 5-star rating because it looks good and easy. Looks seem easy. Yeah, I'm with Moira here. Of course I am. But you know, the positive takeaway, I don't have anything to say about it. Kathy, I was wondering if anyone has tried to make these gluten-free. As if you have an allergy to gluten, Kathy, you stupid bitch. I love pitas, and these look so wonderful. Lisa, Blue Jean Chef team member. This recipe has not been tested with gluten-free flour. You could try making them with white rice flour, gluten-free flour, or other flour alternatives. It should work just fine either way, right? Let us know if you try it. Alice says, just wondering, is that dough or did you take a picture of my belly? Thought you could use a good laugh, Alice. God, Alice with the dad joke. Okay, Toronto gal. Can these be frozen once cooked and browned? Meredith says, sure, they can be frozen once cooked, but they will always be best when enjoyed fresh out of the oven or air fryer or skillet. And that's it. That's it. I don't think we don't need for there to be any more than just all of that. That was great. You know, you found out about what you learned something. Did you learn something here today about what vivisection is or how to make pita bread at home? And yeah, obviously, you tear off little bits or what, you have it with your hummus. We could go over how to make hummus. But yeah, obviously, you could just have it by itself. It's just bread, have it by itself. You could stuff it in there, and pocket inside of it where the hot air is, yeah. Sure, how to make I mean, there's I'm sure I don't what I mean, you literally just mash the damn things and stick a few things there, and that's about it. Your favorite, let's vet it. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah. You just mash the damn things. You just take your chickpeas or garbanzo, whatever the hell. Is it the same thing? I don't know. I guess it is. It just, they're called two different things. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, you just mash it and you just mix in a couple other things. That's it. That, no need to all this other complicated, going on about it. Yeah, I guess amounts, sure. Yeah, but it really is just, I don't know, whatever seems right, I mean, how much of each do you want there to be? Because with the baking thing, you kind of have to more strictly whatever. But this is really just a matter of opinion more so. Tahini, lemon juice, garlic, cumin and salt, olive oil, other stuff, whatever you want there to be, and you can stick whatever garnish on there, whatever little decorative stuff if it's to serve it. My cousin Ale makes this, what's it called? Guacamole with cream cheese. I don't know. You just do whatever you want to do, mix in as much as you taste test it, throughout, put some more, you just kind of come to whatever conclusion of, oh, this is how much I like there to be, you can measure it, you can this, you can that, and just, take little notes for next time or something. With baking it, I mean, other than how much, how long you leave it in, or I guess that's opinion too. You can stray from it any which way you want, you don't need to strictly follow anything really. Just how do you like it? Do you like it more this way? You like it more that way? Not just how long you leave it in for, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, you ruin it, I guess, if you stray a little too far any which way, but a little bit this way, a little bit that way. I don't know. Maybe you prefer it with a little more of this, a little more of that. I usually like an excessive amount of lemon juice on things. Yeah. It's something that's not, I just got back from the dentist too, actually. That was before anything else. And you know what the thing is? It's not good for your teeth. It's really not. Salt isn't good for you either, but you lemon slice, people whatever with their beer or whatever and yada yada. Just by itself, you just take a slice of lemon. You take a few of them, slice of lemon, salt shaker on it, bite into it. It's not good. Not the lemon. Doing that with the lemon, it's not good for your teeth. and the salt isn't good for you in general. You know what? Also, I don't know. It's on the low end, ain't it? Yeah. You want to know what my blood pressure was? It was 108/71, which is yeah, it's 120/80 or whatever is the. Yeah, I got low blood pressure. I got I don't know. That's to be expected, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. You know, the thing about blood pressure, it's, I mean, it's how good, how nicely, you cut yourself open, cut open an artery and it's exposed to the air, and how well it can spurt all out all over the place. How low can you go? Can you go real low? How far can your blood spurt? Can it spurt really far? If the answer is yes, you have higher blood pressure. If the answer is no, you have lower. My blood won't be able to spurt quite as good, quite as far if it's lower. Oh no. Looks like I need to yeah. What? Oh, or apparently normal is less than that. And then elevated is for it to be anything over that 120/80. Or the whatever. I don't know. Okay. Whatever. Alright. We are normal and healthy. We being me, meaning me. I'm hungry, Also had frozen yogurt, pineapple, and strawberry and cheesecake. It's kind of like, right, both of them mixed together. You pull the lever in the middle of the two, and so it's strawberry cheesecake, which I love. I like. Well, when you have enough of anything, you kind of. But. So. Cool. I'm gonna go now. Hope that was nice for you. I don't know. I really do want to stick the thing on the end here. Again, I just gotta go and whatever with it. I gotta things. I have Blender open. Yes, I do. Look, Blender. Look, I'm blending things again. I didn't really stop. It was back in February, like last, that I was doing things. So, 2 months ago, I took a 2-month break. Like, Yeah, I don't know. Anything computer. I'm trying to just not quite so much. I'm trying to just not. It ain't good. It's not good. Yeah. So, and that includes creative things, making cool things. I mean, really, I don't know. Sure, it would be nice to do things with other people in regards to all that and not just everything all alone. It's just other people don't share the same vision or really much. I don't know, they're not into it or whatever. More of a hindrance than a help. And, the only thing to really be gathered from them is data. Ask a couple questions. What do you think? This and that. Or just try to pull some ideas out of them for me to then implement into things. And that's about it. Because other than all of that, I mean, what can you expect from people? What can you expect? You will always be disappointed by others. And yeah. So they will always fall a million miles short of not even expectations. I don't place expectations upon anyone. I just hope for things to go a certain way, and it never does with anyone else. So I mean, you can't even really be disappointed if something along that vein is to be expected, right? It's just, I don't know. Today was a great day, if you can't tell. I'm in a good mood. So, that's cool. Only a little bit of all that stuff. So, I'm going to eat something. I'm going to go back outside again. Just do whatever. I think, yeah. I'm going to lay down on the floor a bit. I'm going to this. I'm going to that. I don't know. Okay, well. See you later, alligator. I really do want to add this thing on the end here, but I just, we shall. It's just, yeah. And yeah, I am going to do some more Blender stuff. I wanted to earlier, but then I, kind of got pulled away for all of that stuff to go out and dentist appointment and then other things after, and the whole day is gone. So, and that's all right. That's plenty all right. Yeah, go outside more. I was out and about with my aunt, out and about with my mom today. Whatever. Okay. Well, have a great rest of your day.